Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. Yesterday I came down here to pick up missionaries, and today I came down here just to pick up all of their excess cargo that wasn't able to fit. So let's get started, get out of here, and head on back up to Goroka.
TAWS system test. Okay.
Igniter's on, fuel pump on. Let's start. Introduce my fuel. Alright, 662, release the starter, igniter's off, fuel pump back to standby, generator on, up forward, or V2, alternator and aux bus. So it's an hour and a half flight up to Goroka today. We'll be heading back at 18,000 as long as the weather permits. I had icing on the way down here at 17, so it might not work out at 18. I might have to go down a little bit lower, so we'll see. Alright, we've got 1,000 pounds of fuel on board. I've already got all of my numbers typed into here, but I've got 717 kgs of cargo. I have minus 102 because all of the seats are off. So 1360 is what I'll put in to my cargo weight. We're at 7,020 and it says 7,030, so we'll just go up one more so it's closer to that. For our flight plan in, back up to Goroka. Have them all saved just so we don't have to put in like 6 or 7 waypoints. But yeah, so here we are in Papua New Guinea. We're the blue dot today, and we are just flying along the coast and then up to Goroka, somewhere around up in there. That's just the way the flight plan works out. So let's go ahead and call up for our clearance as well as weather. ATIS first.
Port Moresby Airport. Information November. Time 0005 Zulu. Runway 32. Wind 270 degrees, 5 knots. Maximum 10 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Haze. Cloud. Scattered 3,000 feet. Temperature 31. Dew point 22. QNH 1011. Acknowledge information November.
Jackson ground, November Tango Echo, requesting airways clearance Goroka.
November Tango Echo clearance. 64, cruise 18,000, code 0320.
Arch 64, climb 18,000, squawk 0320, November Tango Echo. And 1 POB.
Tango Echo.
Hi, Jackson ground, November Tango Echo, requesting taxi.
Tango Echo, roger. Taxi 32 left. Time check 50.
Taxi 32 left, November Tango Echo. Taxi light on. Throw flaps in now to get them going, and our trim's just setting up as we're taxiing over here, just because they take a little while to do. I put full right rudder trim for takeoff, and then as I climb out I start taking it out a little bit, but it just makes my leg a little bit easier from having to push all the way the whole time. Alright, clear left and right. This is nice, they changed the runways. I landed on runway 14 and now taking off on 32, so it's actually a little bit nicer for getting out of here. It's just pretty much a direct track right on up to Goroka. Jackson ground, November Tango Echo.
Tango Echo, Tower, good day. Hold short 32 left.
Hold short 32 left, November Tango Echo. The fuel caps and selectors. Controls are all good. Our TAWS will leave enabled. Switches and instruments, we already got 18,000 in here. We're like at 7,000 we said, so we'll rotate 62 and 74 if we had to come back in. Flaps are set, indicated, and verified at 20. When aboard, if we're not airborne, really by the 1,000-foot marker, then we'll abort for some reason. Full reverse, heavy braking, I'll pull off and shut up if we're going off. We'll just continue straight ahead if we need to do anything else. After takeoff, we'll pitch for 85, consider EPL, consider feather. Otherwise, 80 full flaps. I'll pull off and shut up. Masters, crack my door close to the ground and also call tower.
November Tango Echo, thanks. Line up 32 left.
Line up 32 left, November Tango Echo. Alright, ignition strobes, landing. We're 34 degrees, so it's going to be 1470, I believe. Yep, 1470 for 1520.
November Tango Echo, thanks. Make a left turn, contact radar airborne, 32 left, clear for takeoff.
32 left, make left turn, contact radar airborne, November Tango Echo. Start ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses, 1470, rotate 62. Process complete. Radiator speed's alive, continuing. There's 62 and rotate. Climb out at 85 again as normal. Their ITT right at the top of the green at 740. So we're starting to pass through 500. We'll start taking our flaps out and we'll contact Jackson Radar. Jackson Radar, November Tango Echo, passing 600 on climb 18000. And now starting left-hand turn, join 298 radio.
November Tango Echo, Jackson's radar identified.
November Tango Echo. Right, so our departure was departure 64, which basically means head out on the 298 radial out to the first reporting point, well not really reporting point, but start. Right, we're already cleared all the way up to 18,000, so I'm just going to go ahead and set up my autopilot here. I'm a little bit off, of course, yet, so I'm just going to slowly work on my way over there to join that radial. And the reason being, once we get up here a little bit further, I'll show you exactly why I'm heading out, why all their departures are out this way. It's mainly just because when planes are coming in this way, it just keeps us out of their inbound course. But right now, we're saying we're using 3-2, so everybody's starting to use the RNAV for 3-2 over there. Alright, we'll go ahead and flip our engine back to normal, and our igniter's turned off. We'll leave our landing light on until we get out of the airspace and get up a little bit higher. Then I'll also hit my heading, and then hold that down to hit nav twice. And that way, when I get close enough to my course, my autopilot will automatically join and connect in with the magenta line and then fly that course. The reason I'm setting it up now is because I know myself and I'll probably just forget about it, and then I'll just fly right on through and yeah, and then they'll get down on my case for not tracking on the departure 64 like I'm supposed to. So a few of you guys have left comments down below wondering if I can explain what my throttle quadrant is and what each lever does, because some of you guys are confused on trying to correlate between like a piston engine and a turbine engine and just the different terminology and whatnot. I wouldn't say I'm a professional at exactly knowing everything about turbines by any means. I know how they work and I know how to use it, but you should go look it up on Google if you really want like a really detailed explanation. This is like layman terms only. So anyways, yeah, I have 4 levers here, and the first one here, the red one, that's my EPL. So I mentioned that on my takeoff for an emergency procedure. This is a EPL lever, which is emergency power lever. So if for some reason my fuel control unit, which meters all of the fuel going to the engine, if something were to happen to that and it was to stop working, or if I'd have a rollback, so basically if I take off and all of a sudden my torque starts dropping off, my ITT's going off, basically I'm losing power, what I would do is I would just push this forward, probably about halfway, not all the way, because it's just completely unmetered fuel. It goes right around the fuel control unit. So basically, if you think this is the fuel control unit, fuel's coming in here and it's being metered to go to the engine. This is basically complete bypass, so it's just unmetered fuel, and that's why you have to be careful how quickly you put it up, because it's unmetered. You can just completely over torque, over temp your engine and mess it up. But I mean, if you're having fuel control units, at that point I really don't care what I do with the engine. So anyways, that's what the first lever is. Second one, this is basically just your power lever, your throttle basically, if you're thinking of like a piston. So it is the top number here, the torque. I always say we fly around at 1,250 foot-pound of torque. So the way this engine is, it's a PT6, it's got 750 horsepower, and you have your turbine engine, and then you have all your gearbox and stuff for your propeller, and they're separate. So when the engine is shut down, you can just spin the propeller. It's like it's not connected to the actual turbine. So when you're just spinning around in the morning, you know, checking your blades, it's not spinning the turbines inside the turbine engine. So anyways, when I adjust my torque, it's just adjusting the power output of the actual engine. It doesn't change the RPM, that's just the propeller. So I think the actual RPM of the turbine engine is, I think at 100%, it's like 38,000 plus RPM, so it's pretty absolutely crazy. But anyways, that's what that lever does. This also basically will adjust my ITT. If I increase it, it increases the torque, but it also increases the temperature inside of the turbines. You guys can Google all these little terminologies if you're not 100% sure. I'm not going to be able to explain them in every one of my videos. So anyways, that's what that does. The blue lever here is the prop. So a lot of people are confused on pushing the prop forward and bringing it back. So if I push it forward, it changes the pitch of the plane. Basically, the simplest way is basically making it like a takeoff propeller as opposed to a cruise propeller. And then the last one is the fuel cutoff. So you have cutoff, you have low idle and high idle. So takeoff and everything, you're flying at high idle, and taxi, you do it at low idle. The reason why you have a high and a low idle is, like, let's say if you come in at low idle and you come in and you're landing and you basically pull it all the way back, idle, it's going to go way down a lot lower. So then if you had to add power really quickly, it's going to take a little bit longer to spool up, which might be dangerous. So that's why you have high and low idle. I'm sure there's other reasons, but that's the easiest way to explain when we use that. And then you have the cutoff as well, which is just basically cutting off all the fuel to the engine. Google, like, YouTube some video on how turbine engines work. It's a little bit different. Basically, if fuel's continuing to go to them, they continue to work. That's the easiest way to explain it. Once you cut off fuel, it's going to stop. But yeah, so that's the 4 levers that I have here. Alright, well, I already have my oxygen hooked up for my flight down here. Like I said, we're going up to 18,000. If the weather allows, and it looks like it should. A lot of the clouds from this morning have gone way down, so...
Mike Charlie Hotel, section Sierra Grey identified. Stand by 4 for the climb.
Mike Charlie Hotel.
Alright, just passing through 12,000, I'll flip off my landing light now that we're well out of anything that's coming in. So anyways, yeah, if you guys look at this little here thing, the green line basically from Sokto, right in here, all the way straight in, that's basically straight in for runway 14, and that's, at this time of the year, that's typically the runway that they're using. So for departure 64, we head out over here to Starp and then up to Snappa, all the way up to here to Epcad, and then all the way up here to Goroka. So basically, if I'm coming from Goroka, I just have a straight track all the way into Moresby, and now all the airplanes heading out up to Goroka and Port Moresby, or correction, up to Mount Hagen and whatnot, all head along the coast, which actually works a little bit better usually for the weather. It's usually perfectly clear right along the coast all the way. And then once you get up to Epcad and whatnot, up in these central mountains in here, that's usually where all the weather builds up. So yesterday I had to come back up here in the afternoon. It was really horrible crap weather, and ended up having to come over here towards Nadzab and then come in around. So it took a little bit longer to go up that way, but we had storms all through here and just didn't really feel like flying through that, especially with some missionaries that just come back to the field. It's one thing if you're by yourself and you have to fly through some really crummy weather. It's one thing, but when you have passengers on board, it's just very, very stressful for them. So try to make it as much of a comfortable flight as I can in the context of PNG weather. So yeah, storms everywhere, but thankfully we still made it in, and it wasn't too bad. So flying single pilot, one thing that we always check ourselves is to check our blood oxygen levels with our pulse oximeter. Because I am by myself, we have to use oxygen. This is not a pressurized airplane. We regularly check ourselves just to see what oxygen level we are at, if it's safe, and to make sure that this is actually working like it says it's supposed to. So I'm 95 right now. My pulse is 74. So yeah, as long as I'm over 90, the doctors have said that's okay. Even for a little bit, like right at 90 for a while, it's still okay because it's not like a permanent thing. Anyways, that's how we make sure that we're safe, make sure that our oxygen levels are working, that these are working, that it's, even though it says we have like green lights and whatnot saying that we do have oxygen. Yeah, so basically I've set this up for 18,000. I usually actually set it up a little bit higher than that. And then to make sure the ball is rised up, we'll let you know that your oxygen is flowing. You can feel it too.
November Tango Echo, contact Moresby Radar on 119.3.
Moresby Radar 119.3, good day. November Tango Echo.
Good day.
I was just going to say, I think they're going to switch me over here in a second. Moresby Radar, November Tango Echo, passing 15,300 on climb 18,000.
November Tango Echo, Moresby Radar. Eric QNH 1009er.
1009er, November Tango Echo. Okay, we'll set up our main one as well as our standby altimeter setting. Alright, checking in again, going through 16.5, 96 my blood oxygen and 73 for my pulse. Sometimes with these things you have to like check them out and let them sit there for 30 seconds on your finger for everything to like kind of even itself out. Right, that chime you just heard, that's just our V2 tracker. Home base was just texting me and says, got an idea how much cargo is left for tomorrow's flight? Because like I said, we had like 42 missionaries return to the field, and we had, yeah, tons and tons of cargo that they had brought over that didn't fit on board. Because with the fuel and whatnot, we can only carry around 750 with all of our seats, 750 kgs back up to Goroka, which is an hour-and-a-half flight. So let me text him and let him know. I think I have around 300 or so left. Right, now that our airspeed's up to 118, I'm going to go ahead and bring my ITT back to 700 now. Because we're over 12 to 13,000, I'm now limiting myself to my ITT at 700. Right now my torque's at 1250, so it's a little bit different. The higher you go up, the air's thinner, the engines aren't running quite as well and as efficient as they are at sea level, so now I'm limited by my ITT. One of the other reasons why we fly up here at 18,000, especially if we just have cargo like I do today, is my fuel flow is right at 250, whereas if I was to fly back at, say, 12,000 feet, it'd probably be like right around 300 to 305 or so. So we are saving a little bit of fuel, especially on an hour-and-a-half flight. You know, or potentially saving, let's see, that'd be hopefully maybe 70 to 75 pounds of fuel just on that flight. And then the oxygen, I mean, it's like $3 an hour for a pilot, so it's definitely a lot cheaper just to fly a little bit higher if you can.
November Tango Echo, position 104 miles northwest, radar service is terminated. Contact Moresby on 120.9. HF is 6622110 miles Moresby.
Contact Moresby on 120.9 or 6622, November Tango Echo, and say again distance. You'd like me to switch over?
At 110 miles from Moresby, thanks. November Tango Echo.
At 110 miles, November Tango Echo. Right, so at 110 miles Moresby, which is right down here, off of their VOR, that's when I switch over to there, which is basically that little line right there. Moresby 120.9 or November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo Moresby, good day, go ahead.
November Tango Echo 110 miles Moresby, maintaining 18,000. Estimating MCAD 48, Goroka 32, next hour.
November Tango Echo, orbit 18,000, no reported traffic.
November Tango Echo. All right, we're approaching a new low here in just a second, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my descent profile into Goroka. I'm just going to put it down at like basically where I'd be turning 500 feet above the field, 5,600, and we'll come on down at, let's just say, 200 feet per minute. That's the top of descent mark right up there. Alright, here is a new low. Switch over to 120.7. Moresby 120.7, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Echo, a new low this time, maintaining 18,000. Copy Alpha Tango Foxtrot, and estimating Goroka circuit, time 32.
November Tango Echo, no additional reported traffic.
November Tango Echo. So we're just about at our top of descent. As you can see, we've got a nice overcast layer out here, probably around 17,000. And I've got, what, like another 30 miles to run Goroka. So my guess is the overcast layer is just right here. Once we get to the end of the Goroka Valley, which kind of comes out like that, should open up. So here's Taraba right here. That's pretty close to where my top of descent is.
Vertical track.
There's Patty, let me know. So my guess is once we get about right there, it's going to be just completely clear right into the valley. So I go ahead and start my descent now, but I can only go down to 10,600. So that's what my safe altitude is for that little leg. I'm going to go ahead and start with my 1,200 feet per minute going down. Then also just do an area call as we're starting to get into Goroka. All stations Goroka 120.7, Kodiak November Tango Echo 30 miles to the south, left 18,000 on descent. Circuit time Goroka 31. The outside temperature is -2 right now. I doubt I'll pick up any icing up in here because there doesn't look like there's enough moisture in these clouds. Potentially, I've got a tiny bit of moisture, but I could see through this layer not that many miles back and saw that it wasn't really that thick of a layer. So I'm not really worried about picking up any icing. My pitot heats are on already anyways. I'm starting to see the bottoms of it now. Looks like it's just kind of like scattered down below. Kind of a crummy, cloudy day down there.
Tango Echo Moresby 15 miles Goroka, contact Goroka Tower 118.7, Goroka QNH 1018.
1018, contact Tower 118.7, 15 miles, November Tango Echo. Alright, set up my primary and secondary altimeter settings.
Tango Echo, request your percent level.
Passing through 16,000 on descent. November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo.
There's just a lot of clouds out here. I wasn't expecting there to be this many clouds getting back into Goroka. Usually it's beautiful. Yesterday we had tons and tons of rain. I think we're supposed to get some more this afternoon, but this many clouds at just 12:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, there's quite a few already. All right, we'll go ahead and start our checklist for landing. Selectors, fuel selectors, and brakes are good. Our TAWs we'll leave enabled for now because we are kind of going in and out of IMC. Our VREF is going to be our approach speed. We're 6660 for landing, so landing is going to be 71 knots. The lights inlet we'll get here shortly as we get closer, and the rest of it we'll also do as we get closer. Alright, go ahead. Well, our outside temp is still 5. We'll just leave our pitot hoots on just for a couple more minutes until we get down probably closer to 10,000. Probably a little bit of moisture in this cloud right here. I can see a little bit of rain down below. We're just passing through 12,000. I'll go ahead and flip off my oxygen now. Goroka Tower, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, Goroka Tower.
Apologies, November Tango Echo 10 miles to the south, passing 12,000 on descent. Your circuit time 30.
November Tango Echo, copied. Runway 35 right, twin light and variable QNH 1018. And track report final traffic, Kilo Sierra Delta 8, taxiing this time Goroka for mid-end.
Port finals 35 right 1018, copy Kilo Sierra Delta, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, you estimate?
Cessna 30, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo.
Alright, we're just 10 miles out, so I'm going to go ahead and hop on down here and stay VFR. My altitude all the way down to basically 500 feet before the field. That way I have a nice little arc on here, so I can see exactly when I'm going to get to that altitude, so I can adjust. So now I'm 2,400 nearly feet per minute to get down to my altitude. I'm underneath this layer now, so no dramas. Alright, getting over here so we can get on my 5-mile final for 35 right. And Goroka Tower, November Tango Echo, 5-mile final, 35 right.
November Tango Echo, runway 35 right, clear to land.
Clear land 35 right, November Tango Echo. My speed up just because this guy's sitting at the end of the runway now. I don't want him to have to wait for too much longer, but I only got a minute and a half anyways, so I just hold off on all my flaps and whatnot until I get closer. Tail heat's off. If we have to go around, power up 20 degrees, pitch for 73, and maneuver is required, reset torque 740. We have flaps to go, and that is it. Keep our speed up. Based on 120, 130 until we get a little bit closer. And we'll just try a no flaps landing today, just so I can keep my speed up as much as I can for this guy. Yeah,
Too low. Terrain.
Yes, thank you. Probably going to float forever, so I'm just going to come in super, super shallow. No flap landing in a long time. All right, there we go. That's idle. Going on forever. There we go. And full reverse.
Kilo Sierra Delta 17 right, and left hand clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 17 right, left turn, Kilo Sierra Delta.
And probably got the brakes a little hot on that one. So yeah, coming over the numbers at like 120 some knots. And a full load. Probably not the best on the brakes, but anyways. Back to Goroka. Welcome to Goroka. Thanks for joining along on that flight. Consider subscribing if this is the kind of content you guys do enjoy watching. I put out videos a couple times a week. So Wednesdays and Saturdays I put them out. If you enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help my channel grow, and I sure do appreciate it. So thanks again, guys, for watching, and have a wonderful day. Shut down, turn everything off. All right, guys, thanks again. Have a good one.